and thank you so much for coming to watch my show on YouTube. This is Wildflowers Within. My name is Alejandra Valenzuela, and I am super, super grateful to have you. Before I get started on this content, I would just love to remind everybody to like the video and subscribe, get the bell notification so that this channel can grow. I appreciate all 28 of you that consistently watch. I love you. You're my strong, you're the homies. We're doing it. And I joke. And at the same time, I really would love to grow this channel. It's my intention to. So I'm excited about today. I'm super excited about this episode. And I wanted to first ask if any of you have done any work with Tony Robbins. If you have, por favor, please put in the comments your experience, because I'm going to talk about mine, and I really love to hear everybody else's. I was on a phone call earlier today with two of my dearest soul sisters, and one of them was she experienced Tony Robbins, had done at least 3 trainings, maybe even more, and she wasn't as high on the Kool-aid as I am. And if you don't know who this guy is, if you go to his website, it says he is the #1 strategist in the world. Those are some that's a big, bold statement, but he's got all the proof to back it up. This guy has transformed the lives of, I think it's millions of people, millions and millions of people. And he's been in this business for over 40 years. He was in a movie, Shallow Hal, if any of you have seen that, with Jack Black. And I'm going to be doing a comedy skit at the end of this video. So make sure you stay and stick around and watch, because it's going to be awesome. And, as part of this channel, my intention was to create a spiritual channel. It was after I had this massive awakening in Brazil, and then lived the life of a gypsy for years, searching and trying to figure out why am I even here? What am I supposed to do? And now that I have this business, I'm, an inspirational speaker. I'm a life coach. I make blessed jewelry. Am I wearing my jewelry? Yes, I am. Okay, I'm wearing one of my blessed rosaries. And, I went to a training of his called Business Mastery. I actually started with Wealth Mastery, if any of you guys have taken it. And then now I just completed Business Mastery. And in December, I'm going to be doing Date with Destiny. And probably next year, I'll do Unleash the Power Within. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And what I thought would be really cool is to share that even though I went to this seminar, this workshop for business, right, Business Mastery, I was tripping out that all of these principles, many of the principles he taught, I can apply to my own path and growth in terms of spirituality. Spiritual principles that are equally just as important, and the questions and what we documented and what we put through, how I apply that to my own evolution and spiritual growth as a soul on this planet. So I thought it would be really cool to share what I came across and discovered within myself. That being said, I will also share, I'm in Los Angeles right now. I flew back and my parents are here. This is where I was born and raised. And I came off that airplane so high, so high on the Kool-aid. And I can't stop talking about it. And my parents are they just laugh. I mean, they love me very much. They know when the inner cheerleader in me is you gotta know. Well, do you know what Tony Robbins would say? I'll say stuff like that. And so I love you, Mom and Dad. Thank you for just loving me for who I am. It really serves me well. All right. So if you saw my episode called The Dark Side of a Storyteller, if you haven't, please go and watch that, because it'll really make sense. One of the first things that I was writing down and I was laughing at is when he talked about storytelling. Tony Robbins addresses the audience and he's talking about business. And he's like, how many of you tell yourself stories about your business, and everybody's raising their hand, right? And these stories, like, are all of them true? Or are sometimes we're telling ourselves the stories that we want to believe are true? And so people are just laughing, like, how many of you think that you have a incredible company culture and, your workers, because it's mostly for CEOs and entrepreneurs, right? So how many of you think that you've got this team and that they're dedicated and everybody's inspiring? And that's the story you tell yourself when you wake up in the morning. But when you actually look at it, there's some highly toxic problems that need to be taken care of. And then loads of people are like, laughing. Or how many of you think that you're profitable and like you're pushing through and you're doing it, but when you actually do the numbers, you're hemorrhaging. It actually doesn't make you money. And then people are like, So then he's like, we have to, this is one of the things he told us to write down. I put a little post-it thing so I have it. He goes, we have to divorce the story and marry the truth. Divorce the story and marry the truth. And when I think about my inner storyteller, if any of you have storytellers that have this narrative, mine is incredibly romantic. My storyteller is an incurable romantic, okay? I am, on this planet calling in love, and I fly high into, the stratosphere of how wonderful and the connections and the synchronicities that this person or this person, God knows how many men I have done this with, is the one, okay? And it's like Icarus that flies too close to the sun. And, I recently went through something and my wings just burnt and I fell hard. And I started laughing so hard because as much as he's talking about the business, I'm looking at it internally for my own spiritual growth and development. And so my storyteller, when she connects to this fantasy world of anything, right? I know I'm going to do it again. I have to rein her in, treat her with love and compassion. She gets to feel my love and compassion. But I also get to remind her, the manager in me, to remind her to divorce the story and marry the truth. Or the manager's always going to remember it, I should say. All right. And when I think about my storyteller and when I don't put her in check, one of the things he was talking about in business, he goes, there's usually 3 problems that any business has. And so also, if you're a business owner and you're like, you're listening with your spiritual chihuahua ear, but you're also listening with your business ear, this is really good stuff. So he says there's normal problems, there's abnormal problems, and there's pathological problems. And I started laughing like, oh my God. He goes, so when you're thinking about it, is your problem when anything comes up in your life, so this storyteller in me, is she normal? Is she abnormal? Or is she sometimes pathological? Will she take me down? And she does. She does sometimes. She does. When I don't focus in on reality, I will be taken down by it in sometimes very harsh ways. So we address the problems that are of the most concern in our business. And just like spiritual growth, wherever you are on your journey, if you are not addressing those problems, you might find yourself being taken down. So that was another thing that I thought was really, really interesting, that I can apply it to both aspects, both facets of my life. And the last one, there were like 5 different tenets on how to live a most empowered life, a most fulfilling life, and things to also remember to get you ahead in life. And one of them was proximity is power. Proximity is power. Now in his life, he was talking about, having these meetings and all of a sudden being in the room with CEOs and, the richest man in Canada and private jets to all of these people that he would never really have access to if it were not for this one relationship he had. And in terms of, and I think that's great to know in business, proximity is power. Not from a manipulative sense, but from a sense of I'm growing, and where's that fortune? Where's that door of fortune that can open up to grant us access into growth? And when I think about it spiritually, it was like, yeah, proximity is power. Proximity to my Creator. How many of you have the spiritual richness to be so close? Well, the thing is, it's a secret. Everybody has that access, right? It's like the Sistine Chapel with God reaching over and Adam, and Adam's just kind of kicking it, and all Adam needs to do, you see, God stretched really far out. I can't get the full panorama, of really stretched out. He's fully extended. And Adam, if he just stretched a little bit more, he would touch his finger, right? The proximity is there for all of us. But how many of us actually choose to exercise that muscle? How many of you deeply connect with the divine? Deeply connect to the deepest prayers inside your heart and make an intention to connect with them every single day. I pray the rosary. It's part of the reason that I make these. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, I just enjoy it because they're infused with the vibration of La Virgen de Guadalupe. And she's my everything. She's my, when I think of proximity to power, I think of her. Sorry, if you hear water right now, that's my mom watering her plants. I forgot to tell her I was recording a video. And I'm not going to stop right now. So, the closeness I have to her, right? The prayers that I speak to her every single day. I give gratitude to her every single day, asking for guidance, asking for support, asking for healing when I need it. This proximity to the almighty power of the divine is a way and an opportunity available to everyone for spiritual abundance, to spiritual wealth, and to spiritual power and connection. So I just loved it. I loved it. I love the training so much. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to dip into the miracle zone. And, just to show you how much it feels like the miracle zone. When I came back from, so I went to the airport and I had this moment. I was on the wait list to get upgraded to first class. I had done the check-in, and I was first on the list. And I saw that when I first checked in, I was first on the list, but it showed 0 availability in first class. And I thought, something can change. We never know. We'll see. And so I went through security. I'm there, having a bite to eat at the airport. And now I keep looking, and all of a sudden, 1 availability shows up. And so it's about 5 minutes to boarding, and nothing's happened. No one's called me up, and I'm like, I gotta go and talk to this lady. So I go up to the ticketing counter right there at the gate, and I speak to the agent, and I said, hey, I'm on the wait list to get upgraded, and I saw there was 1 availability. I'm the first on the list. Are we doing this? And so she looks, she goes, oh, well, let me see. It was early. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and the flight was leaving. And she goes, let me see. So she goes, and she, with the computer, she's like, oh, yeah, you got it. And she prints it out, and she was like, here you go. She hands it to me, priority, first class. And I'm like, yeah! And then I tell her, by the way, I just came from a Tony Robbins training and I feel like I am in the vortex of abundance. And this is just confirmation that everything that's happening is so amazing. And she starts laughing. And there was a pilot, the pilot was coming in to pass through. And he's looking at me like, wow, this lady's really happy. And I was like, this is the best day ever. Thank you so much. So, of course, when I came home to tell my parents, and then I got upgraded to first class for free and I didn't have to pay for it. You know, it was so, so good. So, I love Tony Robbins. I'm going to be drinking this Kool-Aid for a very long time. And if any of you have had an experience, good or bad, like I'm open to hear everybody's comments. Please leave it in the chat because I would love, love, love to see it. And for your special treat, I am going to be doing a scene from the movie Shallow Hal, where Tony Robbins made an appearance in front of, so it's him in the elevator. If you've ever seen Shallow Hal, it's him in the elevator. It's a scene with Jack Black and Tony Robbins, and it's hysterical. I found one on YouTube that was like 30 seconds long, so it's not the whole scene. It's about 30 seconds. And when I watched it, I was laughing so hard and I couldn't wait to be able to do this scene. So thank you so much for coming. This wind is crazy. Thank you so much for coming to watch this video. If you have any golden nuggets or ahas or anything about Tony that you wish to share in the comments, I would love to hear it. And I'll see you, hopefully see you next week with another video. So without further ado, queridos, I present to you a scene from the movie Shallow Hal. You're the T-Read Guru guy. Yes, Tony Robbins, pleased to meet you. Yeah, oh man. So wow, you gave advice to whatchamacallit? President Clinton? Nah. Mandela? Nah. Gorbachev? No. Pamela Anderson. All right. Yeah. Give me another handshake. Wow. Look at those mitts. It's like grabbing a bunch of bananas. What's up with those dogs? What size are those? Size 16, buddy. Holy cannoli. So, you must do pretty good with the ladies. Just one. Really? Yeah. She sounds hot.